We're glad you joined us today on The Final Takeaway, where we dive deep into current events as well as social, cultural, political, economic, and legal issues affecting the people. Our content seeks to encourage critical thinking and informed discussions on topics that are important to the public. Now, as the May 25th election date approaches, the dispute between Venezuela and Guyana over Essequibo could intensify. The dispute represents a complex intersection of historical claims, resource politics, national sovereignty, and international law. Perhaps more significantly, the border controversy has implications for regional stability and the international legal order. In today's video, we will look at how this brazen decision could further intensify ongoing Venezuela-Guyana dispute controversy. Venezuela has declared its intention to hold elections in the Essequibo region on May 25th, 2025. Following a 2023 referendum and the subsequent passage of the quote, organic law for the defense of Guyana Essequibo, the Venezuelan government plans to elect a governor and 8 deputies to represent Essequibo in their National Assembly. Following the election, Essequibo territory will be officially treated as a Venezuelan state. However, significant implementation questions remain unaddressed. With just days before the planned elections, National Electoral Council, CNE, has not published voter list for the region's approximately 125,000 residents, or clarified eligibility criteria. Basic electoral infrastructure details are similarly undefined. The number and location of polling stations, the outlining of electoral districts, which specific towns will participate in the voting process, all remain unspecified. These logistical gaps raise fundamental questions about how Venezuela intends to administer its claimed territory following the election. The election has prompted legal action at the international level. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, recently issued a legally binding order prohibiting Venezuela from proceeding with the May 25th elections for Essequibo officials. This ruling came in response to Guyana's petition, which argued that Venezuela's electoral initiative violates previous court orders regarding the disputed territory status.
In its judgment, which is binding and dispositive, the court reached the unqualified conclusion that it has jurisdiction in respect of Guyana's claim concerning the validity of the 1899 arbitral award and the related question of the definitive settlement of the land boundary dispute between Guyana and Venezuela.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's administration has firmly rejected the ICJ's authority in this matter. In an official statement, Venezuela maintained that international legal frameworks do not authorize the court to restrict sovereign electoral processes. The government characterized Essequibo as an inalienable part of Venezuelan territory and a legacy of our liberators, framing their claim as, quote, a historical, constitutional, and moral mandate beyond international judicial review. For Guyana, Venezuela's actions present a direct challenge to territorial integrity and sovereignty. The planned elections undermine Guyana's administrative authority over territory it has controlled for generations and bypass established international legal mechanisms for dispute resolution. More pragmatically, though, Venezuela's claims threaten to disrupt Guyana's rapidly developing oil sector, potentially deterring foreign investment and complicating international partnerships crucial to the country's economic development trajectory. From Venezuela's perspective, the Essequibo region represents historical territory that was unjustly separated through colonial-era arbitration. Venezuelan officials viewed the democratic integration of Essequibo as righting a historical wrong and securing valuable resources that rightfully belong to their nation. The Venezuelan government has consistently maintained that this is a bilateral issue that should be resolved without external judicial intervention. The dispute has expanded beyond a bilateral conflict, drawing involvement from major global powers with strategic interests in the region. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio's March 2025 visit to Guyana included unprecedented security guarantees with explicit warnings against any Venezuelan action targeting Guyanese territory or oil infrastructure. This strong American position reflects growing U.S. economic and strategic interest in Guyana expanding petroleum sector. Regional responses have been mixed, however. Brazil's President Lula has offered mediation services to prevent potential conflict, while the United Kingdom, a while back, deployed the HMS Trent to patrol Guyanese waters in a show of historical alliance. The Caribbean community, CARICOM, has aligned with Guyana, condemning unilateral territorial claims as violations of fundamental international legal principles. The intensifying international engagement highlights how the Essequibo dispute has evolved from a historical border disagreement into a test case for international legal authority. Venezuela's rejection of ICJ jurisdiction raises significant questions about the enforceability of international court decisions when sovereign nations challenge their legitimacy, particularly in cases like these involving valuable natural resources and conflicting great power interests. For those who may not know, the Essequibo territory encompasses approximately 61,600 square miles west of the Essequibo River, representing 2/3 of Guyana's internationally recognized land area. This resource-rich region contains substantial deposits of gold, diamonds, and timber, while also bordering offshore petroleum reserves that currently yield around 650,000 barrels daily, resources that have heightened the strategic importance of this long contested land. The territorial dispute dates back to colonial times, predating the independence of both modern nations. The conflict originated between imperial powers, Spain, Venezuela's predecessor, and the Netherlands and United Kingdom, Guyana's colonial administrators, and was supposedly settled by the 1899 Paris Arbitral Award, which granted the territory to British Guyana. Venezuela, however, has consistently rejected this ruling, claiming procedural irregularities and historical rights to the region, while Guyana maintains that the arbitration permanently resolved the boundary in question. Well, that is all we have for now, but we'd like to ask you this. Should international courts have the power to settle century-old border disputes? Can diplomatic solutions still prevail in a time of rising global tensions and resource competition? And how might the outcome of this conflict reshape the balance of power in South America and beyond? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. And if you did find this video insightful, consider subscribing to stay informed for future updates. Thank you again for watching and stay safe.